Jack Thunder and the Fragments of Anima. Book 5. Fire. Chapter 8. It's Not Over. Jack Thunder and the others stared at Titania's crumpled form for far too long. The storm gremlin was desperately trying to catch his breath. These battles kept getting crazier and crazier. First a giant tornado, then a siren sea captain, then a mutated roller coaster, then a false dryad, and now an evil queen who shot butterflies out of her hands. This was more adventure and strangeness than he'd ever seen before in his life, and that was saying something considering he lived in Alterus. All of a sudden, two horse-sized figures descended from above. Two dragons with blackened scales and glowing veins. They glared at Jack Thunder, annoyed. "Boy, have you got some explaining to do," Goliath, the one on the right with sulfur yellow veins, exclaimed. "You can say that again. What made you think that going after the fragment of fire by yourself was a good idea?" Gilgamesh demanded to know, his pinkish veins glowing like the sun. The storm gremlin was at a loss for words. He hadn't been thinking at all. Kirami spoke up. "You're the ones who stepped in for us." Goliath nodded. "We kept Yuki inside Titania's chamber for a reason. Her powers are no match for fire. She can't even touch it without it burning her, and we figured it would be safe in the deepest level of this mountain." "Speaking of which," Gilgamesh continued, "you still haven't answered our question. What were you doing going after the—" He stopped when he saw the Anima fragments. Stormbringer, the Sea Stone, Lethal Joke, Terra, and Yuki all glowed simultaneously in a rainbow of colors. Frosty stepped forward. "We're on an important mission. Jack may have been a bit rash, but there is an important reason why we went after Yuki. Surely you've heard of it too?" The two dragons' eyes glinted with recognition. Now they understood. It was no wonder the little storm gremlin was so insistent on finding the fire fragment. They were still a bit annoyed, though. They gestured for the team to get on their backs. Jack Thunder, Frosty, and Snodder jumped on Gilgamesh's back, while Buckthorn, Shadowpaws, and Kirami took their seat on Goliath's. With a whoosh, they flew out of the cave, high above the stalactite bars and the winding tunnels. Jack Thunder marveled at how complex the dungeon's design was. He couldn't really appreciate it from the ground, but now that he was in the air, he saw the many paths and cells winding like so many blood vessels. His hands shot out to cover his eyes as the dark of the cave gave way to a blinding light. He uncovered his eyes to see that they were circling the top of Mount Inferno. The sun was setting slowly, lazy and orange in the distance. "How did I not see Grimhide on the way out?" he wondered. "There, I believe that's your trailer down there?" Gilgamesh asked. Jack Thunder nodded. The two took a nosedive towards the trailer. For a second it seemed like they were going to crash straight into the ground. But at the last moment, they pulled up slightly, gently touching down. The young heroes hopped off their backs one by one. Kirami waved to the two as they flew away. "Thanks for getting us out of there!" She thought she could hear them shouting back, but she wasn't sure. "Kirami? Kirami, you're back! Thank Anima!" Kirami turned to see Alteria running at her. The older kitsune looked a bit more haggard than she did that morning. "We got Yuki," she showed Alteria her sword. "How are the two in the wagon doing?" Alteria's face fell. "That's what I was running up to talk to you about. Sounds better, but the other one, well, he's not getting worse, but he's not getting better either. Not one of the potions I tried on him did anything to help with his exhaustion. I think Buckthorn and Sand were right about him having no magic poisoning." She smiled. "Which means it's a good thing that you've got Yuki now." Kirami knew what Alteria was talking about. If she remembered correctly, one of Yuki's powers was to burn away disease, including no magic poisoning. It wouldn't be pleasant for Terry, but it would definitely help him heal. She made her way inside the trailer. San was sitting up, reading a book. He looked over when he heard the younger kitsune approaching. He pointed to the cot directly beside his where Terry was sleeping. Terry Paradise didn't look too good. His once lavender skin had faded to a pale gray. Even the sunburn on his cheeks seemed to have vanished. He groaned as he stirred, smiling at Kirami when he saw her. "Don't worry. This'll hurt a bit, but it'll help." She brought Yuki out in front of her. The fire sword glowed with a brilliant orange light before bursting into a bright red flame that engulfed the storm gremlin. Terry resisted the urge to scream. All the tissues in his body flared up with fresh, boiling pain. Even so, he could feel the null magic melting away, the flames purifying his body. Suddenly, the pain stopped. Terry found the strength to sit up in his cot. He came face to face with Kirami. "Thank you." "Yeah, don't mention it." She turned away, suddenly a bit uncomfortable. He was just staring at her with those big eyes, very intensely. He paused. "So, do you live around here?" Yeah. I mean, me and Alteria have been traveling across Carkea, but we just now got here, so I guess you could say that." "Cool." He stared down at his hands. "Me and Jack live on Tempest Island. Maybe you've seen it before. Is that the big cloud with the purple mountain?" Kirami thought she'd seen it a few times. "That's it!" Terry jumped a little in surprise at how loud his voice was. He wiped his forehead with the back of his hand. He was sweating buckets, and it wasn't because of the heat. "All right, Terry, just play it cool." He took a deep breath. I actually found this place while I was cloud surfing." He sighed. "That's how I got poisoned, actually. I ran into one of the bubbles coming from Mount Inferno." Buckthorn suddenly came in. She looked over at Terry. "Oh good, it worked." She glanced back and forth between Terry and Kirami. She smirked. Kirami put her paws up. "It's not what it looks like." "Are you sure about that?" The three of them looked over to see San sitting up in his bed, smirking. Buckthorn cackled. Kirami's face couldn't get any redder.